Chet Huntley, NBC News, New York.
And David Brinkley, NBC News, Washington.
Israel today accepted the American plan for peace in the Middle East, a week after Egypt did, 5 days after Jordan. The plan includes a 90-day ceasefire on the Egyptian front, indirect negotiations, and an agreement to accept the United Nations Security Council resolution providing that Israel give up occupied Arab lands. The Israeli government accepted the proposals in the face of bitter opposition by the Gahal party, which has 6 ministers in the cabinet and which will decide on Monday whether to leave the government.
Having considered the appeals of the President of the United States, and while continuing its commitment to its basic policy guidelines and authorized statements, the government has decided to subscribe to the latest peace initiative of the government of the United States and to appoint, at the appropriate time, a representative for peace negotiation without prior conditions under the auspices of Ambassador Yaring, within the framework of Security Council Resolution 242, and with the aim of reaching a binding contractual peace agreement.
We completely deny any repartition of Eretz Israel. We, of course, are for peace treaties in which the borders will be determined. And there are friends in the cabinet who do not accept our point of view and who contend that for peace, as it is called, for instance, the Gaza Strip must never be given to the Egyptians or Ramat Golan to the Syrians, which means that everybody in this cabinet knows that there may be decisions, concessions, for peace, so-called, which will make peace itself completely devoid of any contents.
The United Nations mediator, Gunnar Yaring, is scheduled to return to New York this Sunday. After being briefed on the formal replies from Egypt, Jordan, and Israel, Yaring will then work out a time, a place, and a format for the start of discussions with representatives from the 3 governments. The United States itself will undertake the major responsibility for implementing the ceasefire. It will be essentially self-policed. U.S. officials are not yet willing to discuss any details of supervision, such as possible reconnaissance flights, but they say those details are understood by all concerned. These officials are hopeful the ceasefire will become effective before long, but they leave open the possibility that it may not go into effect until after Yaring begins his delicate mission sometime next week. The procedures are of secondary importance. The real significance of the yes answer by the Arabs and the Israelis is that Egypt has now declared itself ready in principle to make a lasting peace with Israel, and Israel has now committed itself in principle to withdrawal from occupied territories. These are the most positive developments in the Middle East since the end of the June 1967 war. Richard Valeriani, NBC News at the State Department.
Now, we do not underestimate the difficulties which still lie ahead. The acceptance of the U.S. proposal by the governments principally concerned, important as it is only a first step. It will require moderation, flexibility, and a willingness by both sides to accept something less than their maximum positions if progress toward a just and lasting peace between the parties is to be made. But the ceasefire and the negotiations that now seem within reach are an essential beginning. In this connection, I want to reiterate one point, a point that I made last night in my press conference. It is an integral part of our ceasefire proposal that neither side is to use the ceasefire period to improve its military position in the area of the ceasefire lines. We still have a long way to go before we achieve the results that we hope can be achieved. But in a situation where a year and a half ago there seemed to be no hope, there now is some hope that a peaceful settlement can be arrived at.
Yasser Arafat, most powerful of the Arab guerrilla leaders, told thousands of demonstrators in Amman, Jordan, that the commandos will continue to fight Israel, liberate Palestine, and uproot the enemy from its soil. David?
The American plan was offered to both sides in the first place with the suggestion that they stop shooting and start talking. Well, now they have started one, but they have not stopped the other. The shooting went on. For the 71st day in a row, Israeli planes attacked Egypt along the canal, losing no planes, they said. There are reports, not substantiated, that 4 Egyptian planes shot down this week were flown by Russian pilots. Israel refuses to say what it knows about that, if it knows anything.
The Huntley-Brinkley Report is produced by NBC News and brought to you in color by Crest. Fighting cavities is the whole idea.